Hello and welcome to the March 26th, 2025 edition of the Mr. Joe Bipolar Podcast. My name is Mr. Joe. This is my neighborhood. This is my life. But this is our podcast journey. Welcome to the Mr. Joe Bipolar Podcast. Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new edition of the Mr. Joe Bipolar Podcast, depending on, of course, when you're listening to it. But it is March 26th here in Mr. Joe's neighborhood, and my goodness, it is awesome to have everybody here with me. And of course, it's always wonderful to be out there with you as well. Mr. Joe has been on a roll, it seems like. You know, I went a few days without recording, and now here we are, 2 days in a row. I love my background music, I must say. I really love it. I have to be honest with everybody. It gets me moving and grooving, and I know I've said this in the past, but it certainly does. Guys, I want to get a few things out of the way as quick as possible because we have a lot to discuss today. If you are interested in going to my website and you would rather not hear the truck in the background, well, then maybe you better forward about 30 seconds. No, you're good. MrJoe.podbean.com, MisterJoe.podbean.com. Sorry, everybody, I'm in my well-groomed and new-built studio that happens to now take place on, it's located down the block from my house at the corner for my kid's bus stop. If you'd like to reach out via email, it's MrJoeBP@yahoo.com. On my website, there is a donations and support button. You could click it. It'll take you somewhere. It'll ask you for some money. If you want to make a one-time payment to Mr. Joe, that would be kind of cool. And if not, it doesn't matter because Mr. Joe's Bipolar Podcast will always be offered for free. If you're interested, there's never been a time. I'm still waiting for that. If you're interested, a part of me wants to really go back and redo this, but I'm not going to, based on the truck and the mistake that I make every single time when I try to say, if you're interested in microdosing, there's only one place to go, and that is SoulCybin. Please use my personal link. It's soulcybin.org/MrJoeBP, SoulCybin.org/MrJoeBP. You use that same combination of letters and capitals, MrJoeBP, at the end of your checkout if you'd like to get 15% off. And if you're interested in trying some additional products, it includes chocolates, gummies, truffles, and a variety of dried mushrooms, please visit PolkaDot. They're a great company as well. Please use my own personal private website address because otherwise you'll get ripped off. It's eatpolkadot, eatpolkadot.su/ref/1008/, and that is where you can find some additional SoulCybin products. And just for the record, I wanted everybody to know that I had taken a break with my SoulCybin dosing, and I've taken another one, and it's mainly because of monetary purposes, guys, and that's the God's honest truth. It's really about money right now. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh my goodness, I'm losing my mind without it, but I'm going to say this. There is definitely not a negative effect, but there is absolutely a lot of positivity that comes from the SoulCybin and the SoulCybin website, because I'm telling you right now, guys, yeah, I'm happy. I'm not depressed. I'm not like on the downswing here, but I'm missing it. And I want to see how long I could go without it, really, because it's not something that I'm waking up, I'm craving. I don't even remember it in the morning. It's not like, oh God, I can't take my pill this morning. I'm on a break. No. It is nothing like that. I have more of an issue with remembering to take it when I am on it, believe it or not. So that should tell you where I'm at in terms of the microdosing. But I will say, once again, guys, it is extremely important for me. It is an amazing medical invention as far as I'm concerned. It really is. And it's helping hundreds of thousands of people, if not more. hundreds of thousands, guys. And I truly believe that. People literally talking about how they're no longer dealing with anxiety and depression and PTSD. And I have even seen a few success stories now with schizophrenia. So it's very, very interesting, guys. And we're going to do I'm going to start microdosing again. And once I am 5 days on, once again, so in other words, once I do it for 5 days straight, I plan on doing another podcast about SoulCybin and SoulCybin and all that stuff and the effects of microdosing. So be prepared for that. In the interim, Mr. Joe said to himself, well, guys, what on earth are we going to talk about today? Because it appears to Mr. Joe as if we have discussed everything. Well, what did I do? I said, I got to come up with something. So I actually put in Google cool topics to talk about for mental health. And the only thing that came up was this website, Mental Health Foundation, that actually gives you A through Z topics. And I'm going to read you the A's. And when I get to the B, I'm going to stop. And I'll tell you why. But when I pulled it up, A's included alcohol and mental health. We hit that before. Anorexia. We never hit that one, guys. We never hit that one. And we're going to go back to that. Anxiety. I think we've hit that quite a few times. Armed forces and mental health. We've addressed that. ADHD. You know what, guys? We may have to hit up on that as well. I feel like we have not really discussed that enough. And then we have autism and mental health. And it says, what is autism? And autism and mental health together, and ways you can look after yourself and support that is available for those with autism. I would say it's very safe to say that we have done that before. As you get to the B's, bipolar disorder. I can't recall whether or not we've done anything about that, but we could all go back to that one. Then I see next, Black, Asian, and Minority, BAME. So that's Black, Asian, and minority ethnic communities. Wow. We have not done anything on that, guys. Rates of mental ill health for people from a BAME background. I like that. Not that I like the situation. I like the topic, and I think it's something that we also have to address. So then, all of a sudden, Mr. Joe got to these two words, and I said, you know what? Stop right there. Stop right there at body image. Yep. That's why I kind of hesitated on the anorexia thing, because I know that has something to do with eating, and it's something that we absolutely 100% have to address. But body image is along the same lines as far as I'm concerned, and I want to discuss body image and what it means and how it affects your mental health and really what causes body image concerns. And unfortunately, that's all it says is body image, and it gives a very brief discussion. More or less basically what I just said is what they say. What body image means, how it affects your mental health, and what causes body image concerns. And unfortunately, that's all they give you. Okay? But in essence, guys, this is something that Mr. Joe has dealt with his entire life. I want you all to know that. And I actually find it quite fascinating that I've never brought it up before. But in a nutshell, what a body image is it's basically a term that's used to describe how a person thinks and feels about their body. Okay, and it includes more or less how satisfied you are, what you feel about it, how much do you value your own body, and how much do you value what other people actually think about your body. And it's clearly a very complex thing. When the body image and eating disorders and things of that nature, they're very complex things, and they're closely related to mental health, and they're definitely affected by so many billions of things around us. The number of people, all the places that we go to, the images, the culture, the list goes on and on and on, guys. And basically body image issues, well, they could affect us all at any age, any time of our life. And guess what it directly affects? Well, it affects our mental health. It could destroy a person's mental health. And research shows that aiming for an unrealistic body image, well, guess what that's going to do? It's going to create these horrific attitudes or unhelpful, I think that's the better word, unhelpful attitudes about ourselves, because we convince ourselves that we should reach for the stars, strive for the perfection based on what we perceive around us. But we have to remind ourselves, regardless of what Mr. Joe's bipolar loony mom used to do, is understand that nobody is perfect, okay? And unfortunately, when you have a body image problem, such as someone like Mr. Joe, when you really, really break it down and say realistically nobody is perfect, that actually leaves us feeling as if we are just simply never enough. We're always reaching for that perfection, but we're just never going to get there. And unfortunately, these are the things that lead to an unhealthy body image. But working towards acceptance can lead to a healthier body image. And that's something that Mr. Joe has been trying to do for a very, very long time. I've been really trying to work on how my mind perceives my body and what I should expect and what concerns do I have about other people and what they think about. Because while having a body image concern is not a diagnosed official mental health problem, it absolutely could be one of those risk factors for mental health problems. And we have discussed the risk factors so many times. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there, guys. Now, I did write one thing down: body image. How we think and feel about our bodies found that 21% of adults felt satisfied because of their body image in the past year. We also found that around 1/3 of people, which is 34%, have felt down or low, and about their body image, obviously, and 20% have felt shame in the past year because of their body image. Now, I don't want to say that I feel shame about my body image, but what I do worry about each and every day I wake up, and this is the God's honest truth, guys, when I open my eyes, there is only one reason or only one motivational factor. And you're going to think I'm sick if you haven't thought I was sick already. When I open my eyes, there's only one motivational factor that gets me prepared to go to the gym. And you want to know what that motivational factor is? In my brain, I say to myself, if I don't work out today and I miss my weightlifting, my arms are going to shrink. I'm not going to look as muscular. I'm not going to be as big. I'm not going to have as many veins. Sorry, I had to fix my microphone there, guys. I apologize. The studio's a little off today. God, there's so many Amazon trucks everywhere I turn. It's truck after truck. But anyway, in the morning I wake up and I say, if you don't get your butt to the gym, you're going to shrink. You're not going to look as good. And listen, guys, I promise you, I don't know a single bit of research on the face of this earth that would ever indicate, a person wakes up, they skip the gym for one day, and things are going to go downhill. Okay? It's just as simple as that. But yet, for some reason, my sick mind, it could not, it just can't, it can't get the truth. It just doesn't understand. Because, guys, body image is very closely linked to mental health problems. And, first and foremost, eating disorders like anorexia and bulimia. God, I don't know. I almost didn't pronounce that right. I haven't said that word in so long. Anorexia and bulimia. Those are two very intense eating disorders, guys, that I believe next episode we're going to have to do. But there's something called body dysmorphic disorder, which is basically BDD, and that's a mental health problem where a person will spend a lot of time just sitting and stewing and worrying and thinking and complaining about all the problems that they see in their own body that, quite honestly, other people don't notice. And if I'm being honest with you, you worry so much about your quote-unquote flaws that it could actually affect your entire day. And I'm going to tell you something that Mr. Joe has been very embarrassed about, okay? And again, some people yell at me, specifically my wife, when I start pulling the I'm ugly nonsense, okay? But I got to tell you guys, there's a reason as to why I think I'm ugly. Because the truth is, and listen, don't kill me for this and don't hate me for this, but I never thought I was ugly. I thought I was very good looking at one point in my life. I was a conceited, overconfident loony bin who was shoveled and fed a whole bunch of dirt and nonsense, letting me feel as if there was not a single person on this earth that was better looking than Mr. Joe. I didn't care what movie star you were, what athlete. Mr. Joe is top notch. Come on, we all know that's not true. That's how my sick brain used to think. And now, unfortunately, my brain thinks the exact opposite. And I will never forget where this all started. Never forget. Right around the time, and you guys, if you've listened back on my podcast, you have heard plenty of episodes about the horrific tooth story, the front tooth implant, which I probably mentioned a few episodes back, probably even in as recent as a season 8. I still have the same thing. Obviously, the implant's fine. I mean, it's still in, it never fell out, no infection, no nothing, but I'm still in pain every day. I just got used to it. Nobody knows what it is. Actually, we did kind of find out that it was a piece of missing tissue, believe it or not. So there's certain things that unfortunately affect the way I feel when I have that, because that tissue is missing. But nevertheless, guys, let me stop going off on tangents here and tell you what basically when this all started. I will never forget around the pandemic. All we did, my wife and I, was walk the dogs. I mean, what the hell else was there to do, other than sit on a driveway and, just look at people and, wait for things to open. So we used to walk the dogs quite a bit. And I will never forget having one of the dogs on the leash. And as I was walking by a car, I saw my reflection in the mirror. And I said, you know what? I said, this bump on my face, it's really starting to get big. And I know that I addressed it in the past because I thought it was a tooth problem. Then we thought it was a sinus issue. I'm like, man, but this bump is getting really big. And every single day I would look at it. And every day it would get bigger. And nobody had an explanation for it. As a matter of fact, I no longer even mentioned it because I was so embarrassed about it. But not too much later in life did that bump have a partner. And the partner was on the other side of the face. And to this day, guys, when I tell you now what they are, God, I wish I would have looked this up. We all know the smile lines, or the lines that, when you smile, I forget what you call them. God, I should have put you on pause and looked this thing up. Labia, some kind of folds, okay? You know what I'm talking about, but you got these folds that everybody has, and sometimes when you lose a lot of weight or you get a little bit older, these things, they develop a little bit more and they more protrude out more. And basically, they're it's your skin that droops a little bit when you have bags under your eyes, and then all of a sudden you have these big bumps that basically extend from the side of your nose, and they make this little, I'm doing it in the mirror right now, and they kind of make this little line that goes all the way down to the side of your mouth, believe it or not. And those are called the folds. And I never had them before. Well, I got news for you. I certainly have them now. And when I sit here and I say that a body appearance or a flaw in a person's body appearance can affect their daily life, let me tell you something, okay? The moment I wake up, I look in the mirror, I see it. While I'm driving to work, to the gym before work, every single morning, all I do is look up in the rearview mirror and look at my face. And I must do it 1,000 times. And so think about it. I discovered that it got really bad in 2020. So for 5 years, Mr. Joe's been looking at the same thing on his face, and throughout an entire day, it doesn't matter where I go, wherever there is some kind of an image that I could see, a reflection, I am going to look at it, and it's going to bother me, and it bothers me every single solitary day. And you say to yourself, believe it or not, guys, and this is not me being, the word's not racist. what's the word? Good God, it's so sad that some of these easy words. I'm not saying that girls do more than this than guys. Okay, but for the most part, it is definitely more common among young women to have body image concerns, okay? And usually they're relevant from like the childhood on to later life. And a lot of this has to do with the magazines that are out there and the ridiculous fake crap that you see posted all over the internet, giving these women this idea that, they could be something a heck of a lot more than they already are, when in retrospect, they're probably beautiful to begin with. But they see other images, and all of a sudden now, they have this distorted, disgusting view of their own body. And all of a sudden, your confidence is completely destroyed because your body image is not what you want it to be. And your body confidence now is going downhill. And there are things that will definitely influence the way that you feel when it comes to your body. I'll tell you right now that your family and friends, God help you if they start pointing things out. Okay? Your family and your peers feel free to speak about your body and your appearance. Well, guess what? You're not going to like that too much. Okay? And the more and more you expose yourself to the image of these idolized or unrealistic bodies through media, or through social media, better said, the more ridiculous it just gets. Because, again, there is no way we're looking like that, guys. They're the amount of tricks they're doing to those pictures. And here we are, we put this pressure on ourselves to look a certain way or to match the overall ideal body type. And guess what? There is no ideal body type, guys. We're all the same. Everybody has something that is beautiful within them and beautiful on them. And I wish that I could tell this to myself, but really there is, because I tell you, I look at other people, and even though certain people will say, oh, that person's ugly, I don't see that. I see beauty in everybody. I really do. And it does not even, when a person is kind and generous, and for Mr. Joe at least, that actually, believe it or not, translates into their physical features as well. And I find it very easy to ignore whatever flaws an individual might have because they are such kind, giving, wonderful people. So I really don't see the whole body image thing on other people. I think everybody's beautiful. I really do. The one person I don't think is beautiful is Mr. Joe, unfortunately. And I know that might sound harsh to some, but it's just the way Mr. Joe feels. And I just wish that I could get over it. And the truth of the matter is, apparently, and again, astrological signs I'm not a big fan of, nor do I believe in it, or I shouldn't say I don't believe in it. I find it fascinating, actually, that when you have a sign, which I know nothing of in terms of when your birthday is in comparison to what your sign is, all I know is I'm a Leo. And I find it fascinating that there's descriptions of each sign, and at least from my experience and what I've seen with people, they always seem to kind of add up to what is described about that particular astrological sign. And I've been told many times in the past that if there was a definition for a Leo, Mr. Joe's face would be in the dictionary. And I don't understand, really what that means. But what I do know is there's supposed to be a idea of positivity, a self-image of confidence, one that believes in themselves, to some extent believes in themselves a little bit too much, possibly even conceited. That's not me. It was me, but I have no confidence. And I've been told in the past by people at work, especially the chronological believers, that you're a Leo. You're supposed to think positively about yourself, and I don't. And it's unfortunate, but that's just the way that I feel. So maybe I need help. Then I look into other situations in terms of help, and I know we say that body image can cause mental health issues, but there are also body image mental health conditions, I guess you could call them, and something very similar. While it's not a mental illness, and it's just kind of named, the same thing, or names something different but means the same thing for the most part in terms of your body image, is what we call body dysmorphic disorder, which is basically everything that I've described, in which you can't stop thinking about one or more or every defect or perceived defect. Because in essence, Mr. Joe, it's not a defect. It's not a flaw in my appearance. It's a minor flaw, if that. And the God's truth is it probably cannot be seen by others. But yes, it can. As far as I'm concerned, it can. And I guess that's when that mental health condition comes in. Because let me tell you something. A lot of times when I'm just walking, when I see people that I haven't seen in a long... I'll give you an example. When I see people that haven't seen me in years, you want to know what I feel like? And if this is not the epitome of body dysmorphic disorder, here's what I feel like when I see people I haven't seen in a while and they have not seen my face. I feel embarrassed. I get anxious. I feel ashamed. And while I may not necessarily avoid social situations, let me tell you something. There's a good chance if I see someone strolling along that I haven't seen in a long time, regardless of my past relationship with them, whether we were friendly, none of that matters. I probably duck and hide. I duck and hide because here's what I do. If a person is driving to work and consistently and constantly looking in the rearview mirror to look at their face and, pray that by the time I pull over at work, whatever dysmorphic, ridiculous part of my body, which is my face, that I'm intensely focused on, well, again, I'm constantly checking the mirror and, grooming my face, so to speak. Sometimes, if you would have added up, guys, I would imagine it's hours throughout a day. And while I will not say that this perceived flaw of mine and this repetitive action of myself where I look into the rearview mirror, I don't want to say it causes me a whole lot of distress throughout a day. And I also don't think it impacts my overall ability to function. But let me tell you something. And while I'm not doing it, I promise you this, because number one, I don't have the money, and number two, I don't want to look pretend. There are times when I have thought about, numerous cosmetic procedures to fix my perceived flaw. And when I go on the internet and I look, I'm not too terribly thrilled about some of the stuff that I see. So, because the truth is, guys, if I go and get this fixed, so to speak, what am I going to feel? I'm going to feel temporary enjoyment, temporary satisfaction, maybe a bit of a reduction in my distress for a period of time. But let me tell you something. Afterwards, as my face returns to quote-unquote normal each minute that I'm looking in the mirror, that anxiety is going to return. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say to myself, well, that didn't work. And I'm going to resume my intense search for other ways to fix my flaw. So listen, guys, if you're extremely preoccupied with this flaw in appearance that really others can't see or appears to be minor, then you got to remember there's a good chance that you're dealing with this dysmorphic disorder or body dysmorphic disorder. You have a strong belief that you have this defect in your appearance and it makes you ugly or deformed even. I feel like that some days. And I feel like others are taking very special notice of my appearance in a very negative way. While I'm not saying I think that they're mocking me, I haven't gone that far, okay? But let me tell you something. I engage in certain behaviors that are aimed at fixing or hiding that perceived flaw. Like, there are times I will move I'm doing it right now. I will kind of move my cheek a little bit or like rearrange my nose, not with my hands, but with my face in an attempt to hide what I hate. Okay? Sometimes I even rub my face thinking that I'll make the stupid bump go down. Okay? I'm not wearing makeup. I am using like eye stuff, because my wife said actually my perceived flaw is not even my issue. It's my issue is my eyes, bags under my eyes, which I never had. And listen, I don't wear makeup under there. I will use this eye cream. My wife even got me these, I don't know, the color is blue. And they're like these gel eye patches that you kind of put on underneath your eyes, and they fit perfectly. I got to say, for what it's worth, not that I feel like I look better afterwards, but my eyes feel much better, especially on a day where I have, allergies going on. Okay? And let me tell you something. I take those things off my eyes, nothing seems to improve. And what I end up doing is I'm constantly comparing my appearance with other people that are my age. Okay? I'm not asking people what I look like because I'm scared to death what they're going to tell me. Okay? I'm not avoiding social situations, but at times, like I said, I'm not comfortable in it. And I would imagine, guys, the most common features that people tend to fixate or about are things on their face, such as what I'm talking about. Your nose. Listen, I don't even want to get into that. That's a whole nother story. I had my nose fixed because I nearly, I went through a windshield. And I said to the doctor, hey, make me look like a movie star. Okay, now obviously I don't look like that, but, I said, make my nose perfect. And they really didn't change much to it. They just kind of straightened it, took the bump off. I never had a bump. I had a bump based on my accident. So, but I'm sure people, get nuts over their face, the nose, their complexion, the wrinkles. That's a whole nother thing. Their acne. Think about what you used to, well, at least what I used to go to as a young kid. I would lose my mind when I had a pimple. Okay? I don't get crazy over my hair, even though it's bald. And it's mainly because I shaved my head bald. And the one spot that is bald, believe it or not, again, it happened from the car accident where I just don't grow hair there. So I just decided to shave my head. There are women out there that are concerned with their breasts. Veins. Think about that. Skin and vein appearance, muscle size, Mr. Joe. All you care about is the size of your arms, your skin tone. Hey, think about this one. I know it's TMI, but I'm going to say it anyway. What about your body parts down below? Okay? Mr. Joe's biggest problem, to be honest with you, other than the face, is that I'm preoccupied with my body build. Okay? Thinking that I'm too small or not muscular enough. That's what you call muscle dysmorphia. And that's usually what goes on in most men. So, you may recognize, guys, that your beliefs about your perceived flaws may be extremely excessive or not be true. Or think that they probably are true, or be absolutely convinced that they're true by all stretches of the imagination. And the more convinced you are of your beliefs, the more distress and disruption you're going to experience in your life. That's the way it is, guys. And it's quite possible that you're going to have to see a doctor. Shame and embarrassment about your appearance is going to keep you from seeking treatment for body dysmorphic disorder. But if you have any signs or symptoms, you have to see a doctor or a mental health professional, because body dysmorphic disorder does not usually get better on its own, guys. If left untreated, it's going to get worse and worse and worse, leading to anxiety and medical bills and depression and even suicide. And we don't want that, guys. We want to be well. And if you're doing well, I ask that you continue to work hard. If you love somebody, you care about somebody that thinks that they don't look good, reassure them that they're beautiful. And if you're struggling right now with your mental health, if you look in the mirror and you're not happy with what you see, you got to say to yourself, or believe Mr. Joe, that yes, you are absolutely 100% special, unique, and absolutely beautiful. So listen, if you're struggling, see those doctors, take your meds, talk to your psychiatrist, listen to the Mr. Joe Bipolar podcast, and most importantly, soldier on. Thank you so much for listening to the Mr. Joe Bipolar podcast. Everybody have a great day. Talk to you real soon, and I love you all.